Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Keys, a Pat Lotz podcast. Chris Lotz, as always. Today we are with a new guest, Kirsten Kroh, Crow's Nest in the house. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about, and let's touch on this really quick, just on camera, and then we'll go back to your background a little bit. So she was talking about your first hire.
Yes.
And it's subjective because some people hire their first admin at $20 million. Some people hire their first admin at $5 million. I think the average that I've always heard is like $10 to $15 million is when you should really hire a full-time admin. Have you been thinking about that?
I've thought about it.
Okay.
I think my only setback on it is that I am such a, like I'm the type of person that I really worry about other people also. So like having to put food on their table, essentially, you know, make sure that I'm paying them enough. Like I have to stay busy enough to pay, you know, to keep food on their table.
How many units did you do last year?
46.
What do you charge for your administrative fee?
It's $350.
You charge $350.
Yeah.
People charge like a lot of money.
I know.
Mark Z is like $12.95. Mike Perna $9.99. Todd Feedy. And this is what I believe the average is at KW Living. Not to point out anybody out, is $5.95. Here at Real Estate One, we charge $3.95, but we don't take $1 of that. So you charge $350. They take $100, you take $250, times $250, $11.5. Let's just change some numbers. No one's bitching about administrative fees, and I'm not saying that you're taking advantage of everybody, but this is a way for you to scale, so you don't have to concern about that. Let's just change your price to $5.95. Everyone's doing it, so we're gonna call it $4.95 after KW Living takes $100. It's a good start to pay somebody. Maybe you're an extra 10K out of pocket. I think the number, the happy number for admins right now, at least for taxable, good tax benefits for you, is 30K. Okay. I think that's kind of full time. And let's call it maybe 35, and you can always up your fee too.
Sure thing.
But $22,000 is a lot of money towards an admin.
Sure, yeah.
And then what, you make $300,000 a year minus taxes. Maybe it's an extra 10K, but that's all tax benefits.
That is. I have to think about that stuff.
My thoughts is you should hire an admin, pay them $30,000 out of your transaction fees. A lot of that stuff's going to be covered. So then you can offload 90% of those things and then just go home and think, what do I do every single day that's repeated, that does not require a license, that's wasting my time from touching my sphere? And I think I keep telling Pat this, and this is not what this podcast is supposed to be about.
No, I know.
But I also love talking about these things with you. Pat wants to do all this crap, and I go, Pat, listings, leads, content creation, and Tom Ferry talks about this thing called a power hour. Are you familiar? 1 hour a day. It's 5-5-4. Yes. 5 sphere calls. Yep. I'm sure KW has some other thing that they preach.
Yes.
5 sphere. 5 you don't know, and 4 follow-ups. You do that, your business goes to 60 units without doing anything and zero spend. And you shoot the shit. I think KW said this, at least Jason Abrams said this. You talk about Ford, family, occupation, recreations, dreams. And at the end of it, you go, great talking. We should do this more often. Do you know anybody that's looking to sell in 2023? Yes. Boom. If they say no, you don't know anybody. You don't know anybody that's looking to sell in 2023. You're for doing nothing besides devoting an hour to your life that you might be doing something that's not benefiting your business.
Correct.
To then growing your business from 46 to 60 and being able to pay somebody. So then let's just go out off the 60 times $495. You're paying for that girl. Yeah. That's what I would think about.
Yeah.
We want to hire a virtual assistant, but we also have 2 admins. So we've got that physical human, and Hannah's the director of operations for the most part. That's going to be kind of facilitating a lot of these administrative tasks that are delegated to a VA.
So what would your VA do? Like social media?
No, 100% administrative work.
Okay.
And Hannah would do nothing. And I would get this VA full time. You can get a VA from the Philippines for $1,000 to 1250 for a month. So we're talking about $12,000 a year plus or minus. All of your work. You write no more contracts. They're 9 to 5 EST. They're not sleeping when you're awake and vice versa. They are working
with you.
EST 9 to 5. Hey, I need you to write this PA. Here's the details. And you can find a VA that has real estate experience. There's a bunch of companies. I think the KW relationship one is Cyberbacker.
Okay.
So you can hire a Cyberbacker fee. It's gonna be a little more expensive. It's gonna be like the $1,500 a month. But still for $1,500 a month, what does that come out to be? 15 times 12, 18 grand.
Yeah.
You're paying for your VA that already has real estate experience.
Yes.
And you have cash, minus that little, still have $5K in the bank to put towards whatever the hell you want.
Whatever.
That's what I would do.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have been thinking about a VA. I have honestly been thinking about a VA because I just hired the transaction coordinator. So I have somebody that like does my transactions now.
Yeah.
But I have been thinking about a VA. They are very.
And have you done the math on that?
No, I haven't.
So your admin that you pay for, and I'm not saying a TC is not a great idea. So what is it? $450 $450
on
deal?
average, because it's a little bit.
Times, what do you say, 46? $20,000. So you're paying a TC to do
my admin stuff.
Well,
what I could pay an admin to do everything,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
So why pay just a TC when I could have an admin to do essentially everything?
And back to your question, what are they going to do? Anything that doesn't need a real estate license. You're not going to write any more contracts. You're not going to do any more listing paperwork. They are going to be versed on every single thing that you have to do to get these listings in or buyer contracts in, and then facilitating that work. People are going to think that she's sitting right next to you or he's sitting right next to you. They're not. That's what I would do. And they're taking all TC stuff.
Well, now you have to train them. So who's training them?
A Cyberbacker. You can pay Cyberbacker. You can call
okay.
Cyberbacker. And really what it is, hey, Cyberbacker, this is what I'm looking for. And there's a lot of other Cyberbacker companies out there. You can also find VAs on Upwork. Yeah, you can find VAs on Upwork or other websites without having a third party. The problem with the third party is you got to pay that third party.
Sure, yeah.
So, the third party takes 15 to 20%. Or whatever it looks like.
So it's going to be more expensive.
The good news of that is you don't have to train them,
which is huge.
But two, like, let's go back to that. Like, what if you do have to train them? You know what you're doing.
I do. I totally.
Couldn't you train someone?
Totally. You could totally train, but then there's time, right? I have 2 kids and stuff like that. But like, also if it's between 9 and 5, I guess I could do that too because my kids are in school, right? So
people brought up the time thing and the training thing, and you know what her response was? Tough shit. If you have to hire any physical admin, you probably had to train your mom a little bit.
Yeah, I still, yes.
Boom.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
there's gonna be some, and that's the number one objection for people hiring VAs is, shit, man, it's gonna be a lot of training. It's gonna be a lot of work. But once you get over that hump of training, your life could be so much different.
Easier.
Go back to that little short. I truly believe this. Let's just watch it together. You are one hire away from changing your business.
100%.
And
I literally watched that the other day and I was like, I feel like he's speaking right to me.
Yes, I was. I was speaking to you. That's also probably relevant to. That's not it. That's about part-time agents.
Working on your weaknesses is costing you millions.
Well, you're not really doing that, but
Make more money, delegate the rest. You are one hire away from changing your business.
Yeah, but can you even imagine what I could bring it to? So I sold 14 million last year. Like, could you even imagine? Like, could I sell 20 million next year?
Answer is yes.
I mean,
you know why you couldn't sell 20 million this year? Because you were doing all this work behind your desk.
Yeah, because I couldn't even fathom.
And get this. We haven't made phone calls like that in 6, 7, 8 years. So where could we be by making those actual phone calls? And that's the whole point of like my transition back to the group was to free up my mother's time because she wasn't just worrying about listings, leads, and content creation and touching Sphere. She was doing everything you were doing times X or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I hate to like say my mother's not capable of technology, but what takes you maybe 25 minutes takes her an hour when it comes to a technology standpoint thing. And then I'm sure if you sat over her shoulder and watched certain things that she does, you're like, there's a 10 times easier way to do that stuff. That's been our life over the past 2 years. But us moving home has completely changed her life to being more efficient, to focus on listings, leads, content creation, and focusing on your Sphere. And that's probably a great transition. 90, if not 100% of your business is referral based.
100%. It's all sphere and referral based. I don't pay for leads.
So where could you be if, you know, your sphere was actually touched to a different standard?
I'm sure.
Does it give you goosebumps?
Yeah, it does. Because I could probably, it would be crazy because I just don't have the time to touch my sphere, which is terrible.
And so boom, we can have a conversation about the education and the training and the work, but you're already putting a lot of work in. You're putting 100% of the work into your business, but you're putting 100% of the work into your business from an administrative standpoint. You could change your life by hiring one person. They'll get the rest.
I know.
So back to, and it's just, and you can always ask me about this later, but when it comes to a hiring standpoint, my perspective, if it's not making you money, if it's not directly correlated to making you money, and I'm talking about having conversations, writing purchase agreements, and that flirts with that. I have never written a PA. Did I tell you that?
No.
3 years, I've never written one PA. I couldn't do it. If you made me do it in this room right now, gun to my head, I could not do it.
What?
I don't know how to start. I would not know how to even physically pull up a PA. I don't know. It's beyond me.
I literally can whip one up in like 5 minutes.
Good. And that's astonishing.
Well, sure, but I still have to do it, right? I still have to sit down, pull it up, take care of it. But
so
who writes your PA?
Let's walk through my wife. Let's walk through your days though, and let's just use our imagination. So you're out showing 7 houses on a Saturday. Maybe it's with 3 different couples. So all these couples loved one of those homes, and they all want to write. So you got to go home and you got to write 3 offers. My offers are already written before we get to the next house.
Because you've called her.
Because I've called Hannah, and what I do is, I don't know if I can pull it up really fast, but normally what I do is I'll shoot her a text, and I'll say the house, so Main Street, and I'll say 400K, 4K EMD. If there's a appraisal guarantee, I just call it gap nowadays. I'll do 10K gap, and then I'll do 10% down. And that is written up. And then I'll say, she knows who it's for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's written up within 5 minutes. But that's written up in 5 minutes before I even get to the next house. So when I'm at the next house showing them, hey, let's talk about it really quick.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like. This is what we're doing. Your VA could kick out those things if it's truly a 9 to 5. The problem with the VA, and this is going to be an evolutionary conversation if you go down this path. The thing with the VAs is you really need to make sure that you have tasks to fill up their 40 hours. Let's say you're not busy one week, you're not really showing any houses, and there's nothing going on. You don't want them sitting there and getting paid for doing nothing. So cool. What are we gonna make them do to fill up their time?
I mean, I have loads. Like, I don't send out birthday cards. I don't send, like, literally, I'm the worst at the whole follow-up and the touches with the clients after, because I just don't have the time, because it's like, okay, that person found a house, on to the next one, right? Because I feel like it's always, it's continuous, which is a great thing, right? But then what about those poor people that just bought a house? Like, I still love you. Like, I still love you, you know?
And freeing up your time is going to give you the chance to say you still love them.
Yes.
And I do it with my wife, but you would do it with a VA for the most part. And it's setting up a schedule so they know what they need to be doing for the birthday cards, if that's the example we're going to go with, or just a simple text. Hey, so-and-so in our database just had a birthday. And what CRM do you use?
Command.
Command probably has it, but I didn't realize this. Like a Follow Up Boss, there's an option that it's like a third party or whatever. I don't know what it is, but you can type in what you want, and it's a company that will handwrite it and mail it for you. So if your VA, I can almost guarantee you Command has this.
I'm sure.
If not, there's a company that will do it for you. So this VA isn't necessarily handwriting things and mailing it from the Philippines. On your CRM, she's able to, Bob Smith, happy birthday, make it a great 2023.
Absolutely.
And it's handwritten and sent from a US based place. Does it maybe kind of look like what didn't come from you specifically? Maybe, but I also don't think people give a shit about that.
I don't think so either. I think it's a thought, right?
Todd and a bunch of other people are also like handwriting cards, 3 cards before they leave every single day. So maybe that's just something with all this time you're going to have by hiring a VA. Maybe that's just one thing you incorporate back into your business, is actually handwriting things.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see what that looks like. But when I have that free time to do it.
And to, if there's one thing that I would tell you to do, I think that maybe even a year ago I might have said this, probably just hire someone so you can have more life back too.
Yeah.
And KW's talking about that shit all day long. Get more life, get more life. Hire a team, build a team, get more life, get more life.
Always.
So what is it about not doing that? Why do you choose not to? And don't get me wrong, we already talked off camera. I love your business and I want to be your business. But what is it that doesn't make you want to grow the team with, 5, 6 agents?
I don't want to babysit. I guess if they were like, I don't even want to say if they were experienced agents. I'm happy to teach somebody and help somebody. Like somebody could call me up today and just say, hey, can you sit down with me for an hour? Absolutely. No questions asked. I'm not going to charge you to sit down with you. You know what I mean? I also don't want to sit here and just make a bunch of money off of people. That's not, I make plenty on my own. I'm not in the business to make money off of people, but I would love to educate people and help them be a better realtor so that we have all great realtors in this business, because there are some that are still taking photos with their phones and just, terrible.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there. Like, I'd just love to be able to do that. But from a whole big team aspect, that just stresses me out. That just means that I have to provide more leads and stuff like that, which I don't pay for leads right now. People come to me.
Don't.
You know what I mean? Yeah, there's no reason for it. And I don't think if I have this big team, that means that I have to spend more money so that I can make more money to make sure that these people are also, like I just said, why have I been so hesitant on hiring an assistant? Because I have to make enough money to pay them too, right? And as well as my family. So I think that's just my biggest thing. I just don't want to babysit. But again, I mean, I don't mind. If somebody wants to join my team, by all means, like, I'll absolutely help. I'm not in it to make a bunch of money off of them. Maybe that's a terrible
No. So
mindset.
Tom Ferry, I was at Tom Ferry last weekend, as I told you, and one of the speakers said there's 2 teams that should only exist in 2023 and beyond. It's a mega team or solo agent. These 5 to 9 agent teams, and then what's the definition of a mega agent is probably the bigger question. And I think someone said 20 plus. 20 plus would be
agents?
considered 20 plus agents, and that's not to include administrative roles. So maybe let's call it 30 individuals for full-time staff, 20 agents, 10 admins. That's where he believes people are thriving in this economy.
And then, so what's that team owner doing? Are they still doing real estate?
Training?
Because I actively love to do real estate. Like, I truly enjoy going on listing appointments and like having a listing. I enjoy doing that part. So I can't imagine also having 20 agents and then not doing what I love to do every day. Although I do love educating people in it too. I couldn't imagine not doing what I love every day too.
They're probably not doing real estate.
Yeah.
So and they've made the cognitive decision to recruit and train and build the business.
And maybe one day, right? Maybe one day you think that I would maybe want to go there, but I don't know.
That's why I think, like, I don't want to sell real estate in 10 years. I really don't.
Yeah, maybe I don't either. But
No.
right now it's fun,
Yeah.
right? And I enjoy it right now.
But that's why I constantly am always thinking about you.
Yeah.
Because there's not too many other young people in this community that I would probably align myself with outside of you and Todd. And I see it as yin and yang. I see it as the face and Todd the face, and then me just being able to build a business, because that's exactly what I'm doing for Pat, or trying to do for Pat, is really incorporate more of the business dynamics of things. So yeah, is Mike Perna selling real estate, going on listing appointments? No, he's building a business that's sustainable for him, and maybe for years and years to come if he's able to sell that thing. I have no idea. Let's go back though. So mega agents, that's off the table. That's off the table for me though too at this point in time. If I continue to sell real estate, I want to be also a solo agent model.
Yeah.
But it's not just one agent. And they kind of mapped out what that solo agent's team looks like. So it's solo agent, 1 to 2 admins, showing assistant, and then maybe like a VA that specializes in social media or marketing. So it's 5 people on a team, 4 being support staff.
And so how much is
30,
that person?
40, 50. Is that your question?
Yeah. Okay. So at 14 million, obviously not.
Tom Ferry, and I don't know about KW, but Tom Ferry always talks about units. So they're probably that solo agent is shooting for 100 listings a year.
Okay.
100 listings a year. Whether they do a few things on the buy side, who the hell knows? And maybe it's an aggregate. Maybe it's 60 of listings and 40 buys, but they're trying to do 100 units a year.
That's a great.
And I think that's possible, hiring an admin or two
For sure.
to be able to make yourself more sustainable, to get to from the 46 to the 60 to the 80 to the 100. You're not going to get to 100 2023 or 2024.
No.
You're going to be at 100 in 2026, but it's building to be at that point in time.
Every year has built.
Yeah.
Like every year, you know, you can see it every year, you know, even from last year. I jumped crazy from last year, but like the 2 years before, you know, you could see it every year. It goes up and up and up. And
You hit that like that point of exponential growth.
Yeah.
And you probably have hit that for where you're at now. And Tom Ferry believes it comes in cycles. So you're going to have, you know, oh shit, this business sucks. Oh shit, oh my gosh, we're doing great. Oh, this business sucks. Oh my gosh, we're at 20 million now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely this, you're riding this wave of 90-day cycles, and there's ups and downs of real estate.
there are.
Right?
Yep.
So that's where the hardest part is, when you're on that point of plateau, not deciding to get into the valley of discomfort, hiring an admin or building a support staff. You're not going to see that growth. You're going to more see that plateau or that little slight growth. And or if you don't go through that suck, you will never see that gradual growth. Eventually, at one point in time, you will plateau in a business. And that's not a bad thing, though.
No.
I think I said to you a year ago, I said, shit, if I'm you, I'm selling $15 million, not spending a dime on anything, and just being lean and mean. So there's no shame in that. I actually would prefer to be in that situation.
Yeah, because I mean, right now, I mean, you think about making more. I'm like, I was just fine last year. We made a we made a great living. Yeah, I made a great living last year, and I just like, more money means more taxes also.
Well, what do we talk about?
Oh, I need to invest. I need to invest.
What am I doing? I am doing that right there. Shit.
I was at
that
70
is
less, but that's where
taxes.
Oh wait, that's what you're paying in taxes?
No. That was like 14 million. That was 3% of 14 million.
Oh yeah, okay.
So roughly,
yeah.
And then taxes,
and
then maybe a few deals, maybe you had to cut your commission a little bit, but still, if you're over, you know, even that before taxes, then whatever. But then this is probably the kicker. That's with taxes, and you're gonna pay that what is that, $100,000 in taxes? You're gonna pay how I think about it, and this you already know this, but probably more or less the content. You're gonna write that bill to the government you're gonna write a check to someone every single year for taxes. I'd rather that be a check to you and lower that taxable income as much as possible, because if you put $200,000 in real estate, one, you could have $1 million piece of real estate right now be worth $1 million, $1.5, $2 million in the next few years. You're cash flowing. Do you know why I like real estate?
Why?
So they say it's the ideal investment, and bear with me. So ideal. Income, the cash flow is never a bad thing. Like, you need to cash flow.
Absolutely.
Even if it's a few bucks a unit, they say it should be $200 to $500 a unit.
Yes.
And right now things are tight, so sometimes things are closer to the 2, but you're building for the future. D, this is my favorite one. This is by far the reason I invest in real estate. Exactly what I was talking about. Depreciation, tax benefits. E, equity. You know, you can go from a net worth of $1 million to $3 million for a great amount of equity, the buy down, and then A, the appreciation, and then L, leverage. So when you want to buy more real estate, if you've had that good equity buy down and the good appreciation, you can leverage what you have in equity to buy more real estate. And that's what these billionaires are doing. So, you know, that's on your list.
I do.
So let's put it on the record. And we walked away from the Tom Ferry event talking about, you know, some goals for 2023 or minor expectations. And Tom Ferry goes, buy 2 units this year, buy 2 doors. That's all you need. 2 doors. 2 doors will change your life, but start today. And it's not about buying 20 doors in 2023. It's about buying 2 doors consistently for the next 20 years. And then you'll be at 40 units and you'll be in a great situation. We have 8 doors. I want to double our doors in one deal. So I want to buy a small apartment complex, 8. Well, really the criteria is 8 to 32. At a minimum, we'll at least be able to double. And if we buy a 32 unit, even better.
Even better. Would you go in on that with somebody, or you yourself?
For sure. I have no problem doing like partner deals. I mean, think of it this way though too. So, you know, let's call it $1 million property. And I'd rather have any piece of the pie versus no piece of the pie. So $1 million property times 25% down payment divided by 3, that's a lot more manageable. You know, you probably don't have the 250, maybe you do. But me and you combined have the 83 time with one other partner. We're buying $1 million of real estate.
Easily. Yeah.
So yeah, partners, that's my goal. What do you want to put on camera right now? How many doors are you going to buy in 2023? Are you going to buy any? Do you have any plans to buy any?
I'm building a house right now in 2023. But yes, my goal is to buy, putting it on camera, I want to buy at least 1 door in 2023.
Buy 2.
But I'd love to buy
easy.
2. Yeah, 2 is
two's easy.
Because I would love to buy a duplex is truly what I would like to do. I know you have do you have mixed feelings on duplexes?
No, I got duplexes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
okay.
I got duplexes.
I thought you like...
I got mixed feelings on
slab.
a single door.
Yeah, a single door. Okay.
Yeah, it's I think people are lying to people. I think buying a single family when I hear people have single family homes for rentals, it just doesn't make sense to me. Because go in Brighton and buy a $300,000 house and rent it out for $3,000 a month.
Yeah,
it's impossible. So you got to go where I look for the 1% rule. So anything I buy it for, if I buy it for $100,000, I want to rent it for $1,000 at a minimum, and that's for a cash flow standard. I'm gonna be cash flowing. All of my duplexes were bought somewhere between $150 and $180, and I can rent them out for probably $1,000 aside, so $2,000 a property, and then my most expensive one is $2,600 a property, which is $1,300 a door. So I love my duplexes, but my motto moving forward is fewer, bigger deals. And I think single family homes, you know, you lose if you cash flow. Let's just do like basic math, and let's do it as a good expectation. Let's say you cash flow $400 a month. $400 a month. $4,800. That's not the reason you're investing in real estate, but a furnace goes out.
Yeah,
you know that goes to that pretty damn quick.
Real quick.
Let's say, you know, something major, a roof, a $10,000-$15,000 roof. You're not going to cash flow for 3 to 4 years. No. Versus, and it is going to be more expensive, but it's still marginal at the end of the day. If you got an 8-unit apartment complex, your roof's not going to be $15,000. It's going to be $30,000, but you cash flow so much more.
So much more.
So you're able to catch back up so much faster.
I said I would love to buy an apartment like just an apartment building, something like that. I would love to.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but then like now you have to have
a
company
cash?
managing.
No, we got this. We can manage it. I have zero concerns if it's local. We self-manage all of our 8 doors. So if anyone buys locally an 8 to 16 unit, me and Hannah could manage that in our sleep. What do we need? We need the deal. The deal is the most important part of the whole thing. I've got the money. We've got the money. I've got the resources for money. I'm not afraid of partnerships. The thing with the money is at what cost. So partnerships kind of avoids that. So it's pick your poison type mentality.
Sure.
But I also think that partnerships are so much scalable than an individual self-funding consistently. So management, zero concerns with that. What's your next concern? I'll mitigate it right now.
I guess I don't really have another one.
Boom. So if it's not a money thing, and then deal's not a concern, you know, there are deals on the MLS. There's that one 18 unit over here.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Everyone at KW Living's been sharing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't cash flow though. There's no way at that evaluation.
Not at that price.
They're most of them are 1 bedroom, 1 baths, and it's per door. I probably buy per door 60
that's how you
to
have
80.
to break it down, right?
Say again?
You'd have to break it down per door.
Yep.
Right? And so what are you going to cash $800 a month? Is that what rent is there?
Yeah, I thought it said, and I haven't seen rent rolls or P&Ls.
Yeah.
The good thing about the good thing about apartment complexes, anything over a 4 unit. So a 4 unit down is the threshold. So I guess 5 and up is 4 and down is considered residential. So people can really put whatever kind of price tag they want on anything. But when it comes to anything that's 6+, it's all about rent rolls and PLs. It's worth what it makes you. And I guarantee you those rent rolls are not good. I guarantee you it's $800 a month. So let's just do that.
For sure. I guarantee you.
$800 a month, 18 doors, $1.4 million. And they're asking they just reduced it from 2.3 to $2 million.
$2 million, yeah.
And it's a assumable mortgage. The big question I have not asked just yet is how much is the mortgage that's assumable? So the assumable mortgage might only be $1.2 million.
Then
so
you have to come up with the other $800,000.
Exactly. So then how are we coming up with that extra $800,000? But that's paying a very pretty penny for something that's worth 1.5.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about giving them 1.8 for the potential of what rent might be one day. But I also think that they're maxed out on where the rents are. I think they're at, what I'm saying is, I believe they are at fair market value when it comes to market rents.
Yeah.
For a 1-bed, 1-bath in Brighton, probably $800.
For sure.
Yeah. That's my biggest concern, is overpaying for something that, and then 2, do you know what destroys deals more than cash flow and market potential? What destroys a deal for an investor like that everyone overlooks? Taxes. Taxes. Because now you're going to be reassessed at that $2 million. And then, you know, your tax bill is going to double.
At least, probably, because God knows what they bought that for. They probably own that for quite some time.
Yeah, and then you're going to negative cash flow, and you are going to have to sell that at pennies on the dollar, and it's going to be a good deal for the next person that buys that.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. There was an 8-unit. Someone from KW Living sold it. There was an 8-unit here in Lyon Township. I'm pointing the wrong way. Lyon Township. Gorgeous building. And I thought rents had the potentials for, you know, $1,300, $1,400 a month for these 2-bed, 1-baths, and they still do. Someone bought it for $1 million, and it was listed at like $850 or $899. Taxes. That's going to be. I want to see what happens with taxes, because that numbers were already tight at the evaluation of list price. Taxes are going to throw people through a loop. So you might be in the best position possible. You got cash. You're not tied up in investments. Just wait. These people that bought these investments over the past 2 years because of all this buzz and all this hot, they're going to have to get rid of them. And they're not going to be able to afford to keep them on the market for X amount of dollars. They're going to have to bring it down to what fair market value is. And then what does Kirsten Kroh do?
Snag them all up.
Give them to me. So 2 doors this year. I would love to see you do that.
I would love to buy 2 doors this year for sure.
So how are you going to find those?
I'm going to advertise that I want 2 doors, probably, honestly, because I don't necessarily want to buy them on market.
How are you going to advertise for them?
I'm just going to ask.
Cool.
I'm going to ask around.
For you, I think a lot of these conversations go down to the reps, like just putting in the right reps. And in me too, like I'm a better coach than I am player. Like I need to take some of that advice as well. As I haven't put in the reps for off market deals. And I think that is the opportunity. What I think for me and you though is like a relationship with a wholesaler. Are you familiar with wholesaling?
No, I've never.
Do you know what that is?
Somebody who has the hard cash, right? Or,
no. So, well,
oh no, like for like a wholesaler, like somebody who has
the deal,
the deal, and we're just going to pay.
So this wholesaler makes 2,000 calls a month, and they're saying, "Hey, you know, Bob, we see that you own it outright. You live out of state. Are you looking to sell?" Yeah, I am. They get the deal under contract for $200,000, and they want to assign their contract to somebody else, an actual investor, because those wholesalers are not in the business of really. The majority of wholesalers are not in the business of purchasing these. They want to get them under contract and then assign them to somebody else for $210,000. So they're making $10,000, the difference of the 2 to the 210. So me and you need to build a relationship with a wholesaler that's going to be sitting in the, hey, wholesaler, this is what we want.
Yes.
We want a duplex. We want, you know, it to have deferred maintenance. We want it to be turnkey. We want it in these certain areas. We want it at this certain price point. We want this person to be owning it. And you can break those things down. So, and I actually have it, I have it written down what I want to buy. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. How do you find a wholesaler?
There's a ton of them out there. So you type into a wholesale group, you go onto Facebook, super easy actually. You go into Facebook and you go Michigan wholesaler, and then there's going to be 20 groups. And you find the one that probably has like the most people.
Sure.
And that's a great resource for people putting in deals, but you're going to see the people that are putting in those deals. And then you just create a relationship with, you know, some person.
Sure.
The kicker is that person does not need to live in Michigan. A lot of wholesalers are all nationwide.
Yes.
So this is my criteria: 8 to 36 units, state by rank desirability, Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Missouri, Arkansas. Obviously, if we're out of state, we can't self-manage. Well, you might be able to. Maybe just build relationships with contractors. That's the hardest part, is having the certain contractors that you trust to go over and assess certain things. So I can easily do that, and then we could easily self-manage for the most part. The hardest part is showing the properties, but I think you just create a relationship with a real estate agent, and you pay them, or you just pay them half the rent or whatever. Max radius, an hour outside of major cities. And I'll give you an example. Like, I don't necessarily want to invest in Ann Arbor. but I'll invest in an hour radius of Ann Arbor. That's why I like Adrian. I don't like Detroit, but I'll invest an hour radius of Detroit. Atlanta. I was gonna bring up another one. Like Indianapolis is also not a great example, but an hour radius of Indianapolis, there's a lot of overlooked 8 to 36 units in podunk middle of nowhere.
Absolutely.
That people are not taking advantage of.
And the cost to buy somewhere like that is much cheaper than it is here.
And friendlier laws in certain states. Mom and pop owner, owned outright or ability for seller financing, all majority brick, preferred out of state owners. I'm gonna put that word in there because that's pretty important. And then 25%, or if it's not owned outright, 25% LTV or lower. Okay. So they own a lot of it. If it's $1 million property, they only owe $250 on it, something like that. So you could do a sub 2. Are you familiar with sub 2? This has turned into like an investor podcast. Maybe we got to stop these and then start over on you. Sub 2, it's the assignable mortgage. You can take over that person's mortgage, and then you have to come to cash for the difference.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to use those like, comment, and share buttons below. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pat Lotz Real Estate for more helpful home buying and selling tips. Want a free comparable market analysis? Scan that QR code on your screen or visit our website at www.patlotz.com and fill out the request form. There's lots to love in Livingston County.